Okay, next, in this video, we are going to discuss about objectives of risk management. So, according to one literature based on Meher and Hedges in 1974, they discussed the risk management objectives includes mere survival or mere survival, peace of mind, lower risk management costs, fairly stable earnings, little or no interruption to operations, continued growth, and fulfillment of the firm's social responsibility or desire for a good image. So this is in general giving a general idea of what actually the objective of risk management should be. So if we would like to categorize the objective of risk management, so we can further classify it into a pre-loss objective and post-loss objective. Yeah, the pre-loss objective and the post-loss objectives. So the pre-loss objective can be further segregated into objective related to economic reasons, whereby an organization should develop plans to enable it to deal with potential losses in the most economical way possible. Yeah. So what is the most economic action that can be taken to minimize or to mitigate the risk? Mechanisms should be instituted to analyze the different types of costs faced by the organization, such as cost of takaful premium and cost of safety programs. Yeah. So the economic reason is basically a balance between the the cost and also cost of having a takaful and the cost of having a safety programs. So it is a trade-off. Having a takaful, for example, in order to cover certain types of potential loss which can happen to a company. And then another pre-loss objective is the reduction of anxiety and stress. So care and effort needs to be harnessed in order to reduce worry and fear within the organization. Therefore, proactive measures should be adopted in the event of occurrence such as lawsuits from customers, employees, and others that could financially impair the organization. So that's why it is important to ensure that for example, related to employees, yeah. So related to working hours, related to the employer-employee relationship, yeah. So that is also one of the risk, the potential risk which can occur, which can be occurred in the operation and business activities. Yeah. So that's why the company should also focus on how to reduce the anxiety and stress problem related to its employee. In addition, maybe if the business entity involve customer, so they should also think about their customer, the customer relationship program activities. Yeah. So a proactive action by the institution could help to reduce the occurrence of any lawsuits, for example, legal action taken to the institution by its customer or by its employee. Yeah? And legal action will definitely impair or cause a financial impair to the organization. For example, in the case if they lost the legal action, so they have to pay something, pay compensation to their employee or pay compensation to their customers. Yeah, so this will incur cost to the institution. The third pre-loss objective is adherence to legal requirements. So the institution should be aware of new laws and regulations which has been proposed and gazetted by the government. Yeah? So they have to adopt the laws and regulations accordingly. Mm, For example, employers have legal responsibilities to provide a safe workplace for employees. Manufacturers must appropriately label their products, and automakers have to install safety devices such as airbags in cars. So see, these are sometimes it is a legal requirement by the country. So the institution should be aware what is the requirement in each country and should adopt the requirement by the country of law, yeah, by law of the country. So an effective risk management program will ensure that these legal requirements are adhered to, yeah. And then we move on to the post-loss objectives. So we have at least 4 post-loss objectives. Which is the first is to ensure the survivability of an organization. So the pre-loss objective is before the potential loss happen, yeah, before the risk actually happen. So this is the pre-action that should be taken by the institution. And then the post-loss objective is after the loss or the risk is actually happened. So what is the objective that need to be taken by the institution? The first one is to ensure the objective is to ensure the survivability of an organization. So this objective will encourage an organization to develop a good risk management program to ensure the organization's capacity to recover after disaster. So what is the action to be taken after the disaster? The concern should be given on the objective should be focused. The objective of the activities should focus on the survivability of an organization. For example, if we see in the case of the Wall Street Journal, it turned around its operations immediately after its headquarters at One World Financial Center was severely damaged during the 11 September 2001 attack on the World Trade Center in New York. Ni mungkin masa ni you all pun baru lahir ataupun belum lahir kan. Case ni 11 September 11 punya case where an aeroplane struck Twin Tower World Trade Center tu World Trade Center in New York. So the Wall Street Journal is actually in one of their center is in one of the buildings. So immediately, because they have a plan of the survivability of an organization, so immediately after the attack, so they can operate as normal, like they do not have they do like we can see that they do not face any problems or do not face any risk, yeah. So if they do not have a proper risk management plans with the objective of ensuring the survivability of the organization, so of course they will stop from broadcasting issues after the occurrence of the risk, yeah. And then the second post-loss objective is to ensure that the institution can continue the operations. For established organizations such as bank and public utility companies that have close rapport with the community, this objective of continued operation even after a loss is very vital. Is vital. It's very important. Such organizations need to continue to render their services to the public even in the face of setbacks. For this to happen, a well-developed risk management program needs to be in place. Yeah, so institutions which are very important and have direct relationship with the public and public community, so they have to keep in operation. Yeah, although they have face loss or they face any problems in their organization, so they have to ensure that they can continue the operations. Contoh, for example, like a water provider, company which provide water in the to the public, water supply to the public. So if they face problems, so it will create public it will create a public problem at large. Yeah? So last time I think we have faced one problem in if I'm not mistaken, in 1998 or 1999. The whole peninsula of Malaysia during that time, the electricity supply, we have problem with the electricity supply. So satu semenanjung bergelap pada waktu tu, bergelap pada waktu tu. Adalah beberapa jam, so we face satu semenanjung ada masalah electricity supply. So that is the problem of an entity. Maybe they have planned properly, but sometimes to ensure the continued operation, maybe they do not have enough power to manage that kind of issues. So it happened, it happened one during that time. So the another post-loss objective is stability of earnings and growth. Organization with a well-entrenched risk management program will be able to grow financially by way of diversification. So this is very important. Even after the occurrence of risks which create loss to the company, so an organization which have a good risk management program, so they can easily diversify its business to ensure that they can have a stable earnings and growth. In during COVID-19, for example, you can see like airlines companies such as Air Asia, Mars. So when they do not have permission to operate, people cannot fly. So some of the airlines company is actually making a diversification of its business. Kita tengok ada yang offer macam apa ni makan dalam dine in di atas kapal terbang, kan ada services macam tu dulu. Even Air Asia, kalau kita tengok Air Asia the boss is actually diversifying its business from airlines to, I think, like food delivery, some sort of like that. I'm not really sure, but you can check again. But that is important to have something which can continually ensure that the earnings and growth of the company in stable or at least moving towards having earnings, even though in a problematic situation. And then another post-loss objective is the enhancement of social responsibility. Through a robust risk management program, an organization will be able to minimize the effects of loss suffered by the organization as well as the community in the case of a severe loss. For example, a major fire at a factory would affect the business operations of a firm, which in turn could adversely affect its employees, customers, suppliers, and other related parties. However, with the implementation of suitable risk management strategy, the potentially adverse effects could be avoided or minimized, and the organization would have fulfilled its social responsibility. So this one is referring to a business entity which have so they can ensure their business can continue. And for example, in the case if a major fire at the factory, so the factory have to be closed down for major repair. So the employee cannot come to work. So what happened to the employees? Yeah, and then the company tak boleh operate kan, tak boleh operate. The company could not operate, so there will be no sales, no production, no sales, no income to the company. So what from where would the company take money to pay its employees? Yeah, so in this case, that is important for a company to consider a social responsibility here. Secara mudahnya kalau kita lihat company tutup kan, company tak boleh operasi, so maybe gaji tidak dibayar, for example, like that can happen. Okay, the risk management objectives mentioned can be put into action through the adoption of a formal risk management policy statement. So all what we have discussed earlier related to the risk management objective should be in a written form, yes, at least mentioned in the formal risk management policy of the organization. This policy will be prepared by the risk manager or the chief risk officer and endorsed by the board of directors. Yeah. So why do need to be endorsed by a board of directors? So that it can be the organization's agenda. The risk policy statement will lay down the risk management philosophy and will provide a framework within which a risk management can make decisions. Besides defining the various risk management objectives, it will also stipulate the duties and responsibilities of the risk manager. So there are several advantages of having policy statements. For example, the policy statement establish explicitly general goals and objective of risk management, and then it defines the duties and authorities and responsibility of the risk management department. And the third one is it coordinates the risk treatment within that organization. And number 4, the advantage is it establishes and improves communication channels. Yeah, so this is very important in an organization. Yeah, the communication channels, because each and every information within an organization should be channeled accordingly, so that it will not create problems of communication when something happen within the company. And last but not least, the advantage of having the policy statements is actually for program continuity and facilitate transition during times of department personnel changes. Yeah. Sometimes the company make job rotation. Yeah, job rotation where job being given to someone else. We have to go to other departments. Yeah, so having a good policy statements will help the business continuity and also facilitates any transition which happen during any business years. Yeah, so that's all related to the risk objective of risk management. We'll continue our lecture in the next section, next video. Thank you very much.